Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chonzo. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 19th of January. No respite for residents of North India from cold wave and fog. Bilawal Bhutto offers conditional reconciliation with opposition alliance Pakistan Democratic Movement. And Afghan acting PM calls for official recognition of Taliban administration. And now for all the details. Cold wave in parts of northern India continued to make life difficult for the residents on Wednesday, while fog reduced visibility early in the morning. People were seen wearing multiple layers of clothing and some of them set bonfires to keep themselves warm.
Cold wave conditions continued to persist in parts of northern India on Wednesday, forcing residents to battle dropping temperatures as they stepped out for daily activities. Daily commuters in capital New Delhi were seen wearing multiple layers of clothing early in the morning and resorting to sipping hot drinks and huddling around bonfires to find some respite from the bone-biting cold.
ठंड बहुत ज़्यादा पड़ रही है। ठंड के मारे तो गाड़ी सवारी भी नहीं बैठ रही है हमारी ऑटो में। और 4 बजे के खड़े हुए देखो टाइम कितना हो गया। ठंड इतनी पड़ रही है सुगड़ रहे हैं सवारी भी नहीं बैठती ठंड के मारे।
Similar scenes were witnessed in northern Gorakhpur and Varanasi cities where local residents consumed tea and sat around bonfires to keep themselves warm. A resident said the cold has been so intense that it feels like there has been a snowfall in the plains.
बहुत ठंड चल रही है 3-4 दिन से सूरज महाराज भी निकल रहे हैं गलन है पूरा लग रहा है कि बर्फ एकदम गिर रहा है बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड है सर.
This comes as there has been a fresh spell of snowfall in parts of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh due to western disturbances. Snowfall in the Himalayan region has a direct impact on northern states like Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and capital New Delhi.
India at the UN said on Tuesday that the crime syndicate responsible for the 1993 Mumbai bomb blast was not just given state protection, but it also enjoyed a 5-star hospitality. In a veiled reference to the D Company head Dawood Ibrahim believed to be hiding in Pakistan.
In a veiled reference to the D Company head Dawood Ibrahim believed to be hiding in Pakistan, India said at United Nations that the crime syndicate responsible for the 1993 Mumbai bomb blasts was not just given state protection, but it also enjoyed 5-star hospitality. India's permanent representative T.S. Tirumurthy, speaking at the International Counter-Terrorism Conference 2022 organized by the Global Counter-Terrorism Council on Tuesday, said that linkages between terrorism and transnational organized crime must be fully recognized and addressed vigorously. On March 12, 1993, a series of 13 bomb explosions took place in Mumbai, killing 257 people and injuring over 713 others. The attacks were planned by Dawood Ibrahim, underworld don and India's most wanted fugitive. The Indian ambassador said that Al-Qaeda's linkages with UNSC-proscribed Pakistan-based terror groups such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, responsible for the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, and Jaish-e-Mohammed continue to strengthen their operations. While stating that transnational terrorism, crimes and funding ought to be identified and addressed on priority, Tirumurthy said that 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001 had proved to be a turning point in approach towards terrorism in the global counter-terrorism domain.
India offered a new $500 million credit line to Sri Lanka to fund fuel purchases, the Indian High Commission in Colombo said on Tuesday, as the island nation struggles to manage its worst financial crisis in years. The credit line, which was under negotiation since August 2021, will ease pressure on the country's dwindling reserves that dipped to $3.1 billion at the end of December. Last week, India also granted Sri Lanka a $400 million swap arrangement to boost its reserves and help repay debt. The Sri Lankan government is struggling to tame retail inflation amid surging commodity prices. Foreign exchange reserves are also dwindling and nearly $4.5 billion worth of debt repayments are due in 2022, prompting it to look at innovative ways to bring in foreign exchange. In news from Pakistan, Pakistan People's Party chairman Bilawal Bhutto-Zardari has offered conditional reconciliation with Pakistan Democratic Movement, provided the multi-party opposition alliance withdraws its resignations condition and adopts the strategy of no confidence motion.
Pakistan People's Party chairman Bilawal Bhutto-Zardari has made an offer to PDM, the Pakistan Democratic Movement, that if the multi-party opposition alliance withdraws its resignations condition and adopts strategy of no confidence motion, his party is likely to go along with it. This comes as the PDM has decided to hold a meeting on 25th of January to discuss the tabling of no confidence motion against PM Imran Khan's government over the passage of controversial bills, including highly inflationary mini-budget. PPP and the PDM have also decided to hold separate long march protests over the ongoing economic crisis and demand PM Khan's resignation.
तो फिर ऑब्वियसली अब मेरा ख्याल में ज़्यादा इम्कान है कि हम मिलके काम करें, बट द पॉइंट इज़ कि सारी जमातों ने अपना किरदार अदा करना है। इस वक्त अवाम बहुत मुश्किल में है। 1 मार्च हो, 2 मार्च हो, 10 मार्च हो, इस हुकूमत को हमने निकालना है।
Meanwhile, Pakistan's Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry appeared to be extending an olive branch to the opposition on Tuesday, inviting it to sit down and discuss matters of national importance. He, however, blamed the opposition has so far only been interested in trying to topple the government, despite constant efforts to engage on reform agenda.
Moving on, members of opposition PMLN party have blamed the ruling PTI government has completely failed to bring development in Gilgit-Baltistan, while people struggle with ongoing economic crisis. A local political worker said that frequent price hike has shaken the domestic budgets and it has become hard for poor to survive.
Members of opposition Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz or PMLN have blamed Pakistan PM Imran Khan's ruling PTI government of failing to bring development in Gilgit-Baltistan and rising inflation. PMLN worker Hafiz Abdul Rahim said that frequent price hike has shaken the domestic budgets and it has become hard for the poor to survive. But the government is least bothered. It has failed to bring policies for the betterment of people in the illegally occupied regions so far.
तो यहाँ हर चीज़ महंगी पड़ती है ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की वजह से, तो ये एक ले दे के गंदम और आटे की शक्ल में गरीबों को दस्तरस्ती की अपने बच्चों के पेट पालते, तो वो भी तब्दीली सरकार आहिस्ता आहिस्ता छीनते जा रही है। तो इससे मैं मुतालबा करूँगा कि जिस तरह उन्होंने वादे और दावे किए थे इलेक्शन से पहले दूध और शहद की नहरें बहाने की, लेकिन वो दूध और नहरें तो क्या एक गरीब को जो पानी मुयसर है वो मुफ्त में मिल रही है, उसको भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि वो भी इनको पैसे की मद में मिले।
PMLN Vice President Mariam Khan also slammed PM Khan on Tuesday and said the time of his government would end soon.
तो मुझे और इनके वज़रा के जो स्टेटमेंट्स आते हैं उससे मुझे ये साफ लगता है कि इनका जो अंजाम है वो बहुत करीब है, और मेरा ख्याल है कि पाकिस्तान के अवाम को इस नालायकी, बेहिसी, नाअहली से, तारीख़ की बदतरीन नालायकी से जितनी जल्दी निजात दिलाई जाए उतना पाकिस्तान के हक में अच्छा है।
Amid soaring inflation, protests have also continued in Gilgit-Baltistan over black marketing and shortage of food supply amid winters. Residents have blamed the Pakistan government has been denying them the wheat quota and local officials are involved in corruption.
In news from Afghanistan, Afghanistan's acting Prime Minister Mullah Hasan Akhund has called for international governments to officially recognize Taliban administration, saying at a news conference in Kabul on Wednesday that all conditions had been met. His major public broadcast appearance since he assumed the role in September.
Afghanistan's active Prime Minister Mullah Hasan Akhund on Wednesday called for international governments to officially recognize the country's Taliban administration, saying at a news conference in Kabul that all conditions had been met. In his first major public broadcast appearance since he assumed the role in September, Akhund said, "I ask all governments, especially Islamic countries, that they should start recognition." foreign powers have been reluctant to recognize the Taliban administration, which took over Afghanistan in August, while Western nations, led by the United States, have frozen billions of dollars worth of Afghan bank assets and cut off development funding that once formed the backbone of Afghanistan's economy. Akhund and other Taliban administration officials made an appeal at the news conference, also attended by United Nations officials, for a loosening of restrictions on money into the country, blaming its growing economic crisis on the freezing of funds. The international community has ramped up humanitarian aid designed to address urgent needs and largely bypass official channels. But as the country faces a cash crunch and a deteriorating economy, over the harsh winter, millions of people have plunged into poverty.
In a rare incident, a cow in Gomati district of India's northeastern Tripura state gave birth to a two-headed calf, officials said on Tuesday. The two-headed female calf with 4 eyes was born in the remote Samatalpara village located around 100 kilometers from the state capital Agartala. It has become a topic of discussion among the residents of the region. The calf was born with a medical condition called polycephaly, the condition of having 2 heads, 2 ears and 4 eyes. It is being assisted to stand by its owner, who also feeds its milk through bottle. Sex-sorted semen was used to impregnate the cow, after which the baby was monitored constantly. In India, animals with such conditions are sometimes regarded as an incarnation of the deities. Basant Panchami, a festival dedicated to Hindu goddess Saraswati, is round the corner. But idol makers in eastern India say that the rising cases of coronavirus in the country led to a fall in the number of their customers. They stare at financial distress as their businesses have been affected due to the pandemic.
Idol makers based in India's eastern Patna city say that the rising cases of coronavirus in the country have led to a fall in the number of their customers. The coronavirus pandemic, which has resulted in a months-long lockdown across India in the last 2 years, has hit several small and large businesses across the country. With 4,551 cases being reported in Bihar state in the past 24 hours and fresh restrictions being put in place, religious places, shopping malls, cinema halls, clubs, swimming pools, parks, gyms have been shut and night curfew imposed to curb the spread of the virus. The idol makers are not getting any customers in such a scenario, bringing them losses ahead of the festival of Basant Panchami, a festival dedicated to goddess Saraswati.
इस बार नहीं आ रहे खरीदार, कम आ रहा है।
क्या कारण है?
ये लॉकडाउन के वजह से नहीं आ रहे हैं।
क्या लगता है आपका धंधा तो एकदम मंदा हो जाएगा फिर?
हाँ, अभी रात वाला लगा हुआ, कहीं दिन वाला लगा दिया तो बस खत्म हो गया हम लोग का। तो पूरा कर्जा ले लेके बनाए हैं, तो बस सारा स्थिति गड़बड़ा जाएगा हम लोग का।
India's daily coronavirus infection jumped to 282,970 on Wednesday, taking overall tally to 37.9 million. The country has so far reported 8,961 cases of the fast-spreading Omicron variant, which is driving the third wave of the pandemic.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. No respite for residents of North India from cold wave and fog. Bilawal Bhutto offers conditional reconciliation with opposition alliance Pakistan Democratic Movement. And Afghan acting PM calls for official recognition of Taliban administration. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/Asia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @Asia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.